Welcome back. Thank you very much for staying with us now. In celebration of Youth Day, Uzalo actors are stepping forward to champion a cause close to their hearts. This is through the Break Bread with Youth initiative. Nkanyiso Makhanya joins us this evening to talk about this initiative, which tackles pressing topics such as mental health, career development and modern parenting, among others. Nkanyiso, thank you very much for joining us this evening. A fitting initiative which seeks to deal with issues that most in society should look to address. Talk us through this initiative.
Good evening, and thank you so much for having me tonight. So this initiative really just aims at making sure that the youth is supportive around each other. It's building a supportive structure and making sure that everybody loves each other and builds a supportive structure and builds a very welcoming community. So I'm so excited to be part of this because that's what I've always wanted to be part of. And these type of things are things that I've always been want to be part of, and just building a very supportive structure and making sure that the kids do know that we support your imagination, we support whatever it is that you think is that.
No, it sounds quite wonderful, but when we say break bread with the youth, one assumes that possibly this would be now through either roundtable discussions, or you at prize sessions. How are you reaching the youth?
So how we reaching the youth is making sure that bahlezi bekhona around us. That's the most important thing. Ukuthi bahlezi bekhona phambi kwakho and bayabona into oyenzayo phambi kwakho, and uyabona ukuthi ubakhombisa kanjani ukuthi nisupportana kanjani as friends, as parents, as as neighbors and everything, and as a community as a whole. That's how you incorporate ingane bebone ukuthi this is how we support each other, this is how we love each other, and this is what we build for each other.
So essentially, just to get you correctly, so would you be perhaps going to specific communities where you will essentially break bread and then talk about the issues such as mental health?
Definitely. Mental health is definitely something that I want to tackle and something that I really want to speak on, because being in this industry, firstly, you need to be mentally prepared. I mean, the hours that you spend here, the amount of people that know who you are and recognize you in the streets is not normal for anyone. So I just sit and look at somebody who's just at home with just, a small amount of people that know them in their community. Imagine how I feel and imagine how they feel. So talking about mental issues, we really do need to talk to our kids and support and really, just get into their heads and know what's happening in their heads, what's happening around them, what is it that they really want to talk about, and what they don't feel comfortable doing, what they feel comfortable doing, how they feel around certain people. And that really does now come down to how they then, how it contributes to mental health.
How much of a role do you think social media has played into this pandemic now that we're seeing of mental health? Because statistics show that post-COVID, at least in South Africa, mental health illnesses actually went sevenfold, like they significantly increased. So how much of a role do you think social media plays? Because around COVID, that was the time when many people were secluded, they were at home by themselves, and really the form of communication was through social media, which really represents these very lavish lifestyles that most young people cannot necessarily afford.
I think social media has played a huge part in terms of thinking, in terms of our mental health. It has played a huge part in terms of you seeing what is real and what is not. People wake up in the morning, go on social media and see, oh my gosh, this person is on a flight to Dubai. I'm not, I'm sitting here. But what has that person done to get to that? I think that's one thing that we shy away from. That's why I always say we need to study. We need to make sure that we push education, we push each other in terms of supporting each other, and make sure that we get educated and we are able to buy all these things for ourselves. We are able to buy a flight to Dubai and do all these things. But social media has made this instant gratification, which is not a real thing. There's no instant gratification. Everything that you have right now, you have worked for very hard. Maybe 5 years, 10 years, who knows? But today we're seeing you sitting there and be like, That's what I want. It doesn't happen like that.
Not
You need
fully
to work hard.
not fully appreciating that there's a backstory, which probably took 10 years before what you're seeing now presented on social media. But you touch on education, which is what you will be tackling with this particular initiative. You'll be tackling career guidance. Talk us through that program.
So with that, we want to show how it is to play and also, educate yourself at the same time. Have fun, but also being educated at the same time. And that's the most important part. Like I say, education is very important. It's the key element of everything. Because once you have a foundation of education, you are able to step into the next of yourself. The next of yourself needs to learn from whatever it is that you're doing. Education is very important. So once you have that element of being educated, you are able to step up and do things in a different way.
And then another one, finally, very interesting one, and most probably very necessary conversation that should be had. It's around modern parenting with the new challenges that most parents are facing. The youth is between 18 and 35, so some of them, yes, in their 20s become parents, but parenting has become quite difficult of late.
So I don't have a kid of my own, right? So I'm also just learning the whole parenting thing, by the way, with my kids' friends, with my little cousins and my little brothers. Even right now that we're speaking, that's why I'm in my own bedroom, because I have invited everyone to be with me. They are living there in my living room, having their best fun. But I am learning how to, how to parent the new age kids, not us, how we were parented before. It's so different to how I grew up, how my parents taught me things, but with the very same guidance, we are doing things in a more modern way, but in a more sophisticated and in a more open and very freedom way, if I should say that.
And some call it conscious parenting, that we need to be aware of things that can trigger your children, so you need to be more gentler and make sure that you don't make the mistakes that others could have made, because you want to somehow groom more stronger, more confident and assertive young children of tomorrow. So certainly a very interesting conversation to have there. Thank you very much, Nkanyiso, for your time this evening. That's Uzalo Nkanyiso Makhanya speaking to us about the very important youth initiative, Breaking Bread with the Youth.